Hi, my name is Monika Kaur and my student ID is ST20321030. Today we talk about international business across cultures. MSM7049 Press 1. Introduction. Good afternoon everyone. This presentation will critically analyze the national culture in India through cross-cultural management models that are recommended in the module. I do not intend to merely define culture but to examine the way more profound pattern of cultures influence business practices, exclusive anticipations and decision makers. I will then relate these culture programs with the real outcomes of international organizations looking to operate or collaborate in India. It will be aimed at offering an analyze sound theory-based analysis that is directly is compliance with the assessment standards and includes action-oriented insights. National snapshot: India is not homogeneous in terms of culture. The linguistic, religious, and ethnic differences in its varied states are very high, thus making behavior preferences in management and communication different in various regions. Such complexity has a direct effect on operations of the business, especially those firms that do not understand these differences. Modern workplaces that are coexisting with highly traditional culture expectation are brought about by the emergence of the service economy and digital innovation to be culturally intelligent manager. There is a need to understand these tensions. Theoretical lenses: the three outlines are a combination of the analysis frameworks that I will use in my evaluation. Systematic cultural, like collectivism, are explained with the help of Hofstede. The model developed by the Tromperins adds to it is evaluating the differences in the relationships, rules, and expression of emotion in the workplace. In the meantime, the high context perspective as a proposed by Hall is important in understanding Indian communication styles in which impact communication is common. The combination of the two frameworks will make it research research which fulfills the academic requirements as described in the assessment brief. India thought Hofstede: "Power distance is great in India," which implies that there is little chance of opposing authority, and in most cases decisions are made in the downward direction. This directly reflects on the way team meetings, performance discussion, and navigations will occur. The collectivist dominations reveals the reason why trust relationships and informal networks tend to be more powerful as compared to formal structures. Meanwhile, long term conversation is in line with the Indian emphasis in accumulating endurance, stability, sustainability, and multi-generation success, especially in family-owned companies. Such cultural elements have a significant influence on the managerial practice. India via Trompinars and Hall. Trompinars comments on why Indian stockholders tend to emphasis on personal trust more than the importance of a contract. Institutional rules may not be the basis of making decisions, but on relation celebrity, the quality of Indian culture also implies that there is frequent lack of definitions between personal and professional in relation that affects requirement and conflict management. This is strengthened by Hall in his high context model of communication, where the communication involves passing a message in an indirect manner, and the managers have to understand the meaning by interpreting the tone, silence, and non-verbal communication. This may pose a problem to low content cultures. Key cultural traits. Barriers of control still dominate in industries in India, usually dictates the way people interact and decisions made. The relationship orient behaviors are family embedded in the mind of the business like working with a partner they trust, and the trust is usually a pressure to control agreements. Besides, Indian has regional differences with the analysis style of communicating of South India and a more style of communicating in North India. Hence, managers must time strategies to each region. The challenge of overlooking such differences leads to misunderstanding and poor organizational performance. Communication and negotiation. In India, preserving peace is a factor that comes before speaking the truth, and that is why the feedback can be smooth out or implied instead of plainly spoken. Negotiations can thus be time consuming. Building of rapport is most of the time more important than transactional negotiations. Also affects communication, and junior employees will not dare to oppose seniors even when required to do so. International managers need to learn to be culture aware so that they can decode these unspoken messages and act accordingly. Ethics and CSR culture. The preparation towards corporate social responsibility in India is not only perceived as a means of compliance but a part of the culture based on the communicating welfare. In order to establish, many firms invest in education, health, and local development. Different religious and culture ethics influence ethical, and this differs across regions. CRM international bodies need therefore to align CSR programs with local interests so as to gain celebrity and stakeholder confidence. Subcultural diversity in India. Aside from national culture, India is eminently subculturally diverse. This is isolated across multiple denominations, ranging from geography variation, north, south, east, west, language differences, language and religious different, Sikhism, Hinduism, Islam, etc. The customers' traditions and values associated with each of the subcultures are quite different and make an impact upon customer behavior, business practices, and communications patterns. For international business, becoming sensitive and organizational of such subcultural differences become extremely important. A one size fits all solution is seldom effective. Rather, located solutions are the key to cracking markets and succeeding. National culture's impact on business culture. The dominant national culture has a profound effect on the business culture in India. Low power distance suggests that organizational are tall with decision making and obedience to the powers that be central. The collective permits a business culture where close relationship and networks are crucial for effective transactions. Trust and relationship building may be extent of to formal contracts. In addition, being a high context culture, communication with the company is often indirect through implied meanings and body language. This requires one to be patient and emotionally sensitive to culture signs in negotiations and everyday conversation. Implications for international businesses. In order to foreign companies doing business in India, various important implications exist as a result of its cultural environment. First, being familiar with decision making progress in paramount, decision may be slower as they filter up the organizational chart. Second, investing time and effort in close personal relationship with the India partners, employees and customers is a relationship with the Indian partners, employees and customer is required as there have a possibility to become the customers of business achievement. Third, understanding and coping with the of communication is critical in preventing misunderstandings and establish good report flexibility, cross culture and patience are all critical to successful market entry and long term growth. Challenges and opportunities in India. Doing business in India, if rich in culture, is also with its issues like regional in customs and communication manners. These are generally followed by market opportunities like a huge and expanding consumer market, talented human resources, and gaining moment of economic development of an understanding of Indian culture allows foreign business to be able to native the potential successfully and on them. Through the adoption of culture intelligence, companies can establish closer relationships, drive innovation, and attend sustainable success in one of the world's most vibrant economies. Future trends and cultural evolution. India's cultural sense is not static. It continues to evolve, driven by globalization's technological growth and urbanization's traditional values continue to prevail, but some modifications in some aspects, particularly among the youth, can be sensed. The growth of digital and social media is fairly fantastic across culture in exchange and driving consumption patterns for global business. It requires continuous monitoring of cultural patterns and active adoptions. Remaining up to speed with these evolving demands will be critical to remaining current and competitive in the long term. Conclusion. Conclude the Indian cultural environment is characterized by a complex blend of collectivism and dynamic relationship between people, which is highly influenced by the reasonable variance with the help of Hofstede and Hall. There is a systematic way of these trends and how they affect business behavior. These facts of culture adoption are not negotiable to international firms. They constitute the key of organizational and success its operations.